So you want to work for Louis Vuitton. As an ex-LV employee of 7 years, I've got some great tips and tricks for you to help you land your dream job at LV. Hey guys, and welcome back to Maison MAlli. I'm MAlli, and today we're going to be talking about how you can land your dream job at Louis Vuitton. But before we get into the video, guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe down below and show your girl some love. You guys can also follow me over on Instagram at Maison MAlli, where I make daily coffee videos. If you like LV, you like coffee, luxury, you can find me right here. Let's talk you landing your dream job at Louis Vuitton. So yeah, as many of you guys may already know, I worked for Louis Vuitton for 7 years. I actually left last June, so I've only been on for about 8 to 9 months. So all of this information honestly is still pretty fresh. I still know a lot of people that work there. I'm still friends with a lot of people that work there. So I know that these tips are going to work for you. I will preface by saying though that of course nothing is bulletproof. So at the end of the day, I think it really just goes back to your vibe of you and the interviewer. You can be perfect on paper. You can say what I tell you to say. But if you guys are meshing, then you know, there's nothing I can do about that. But with the tips I'm going to give you today, I think that it's really going to propel you forward and really help you land that dream job. Also, I do have one video up along the subject matter. It talks about, do you have what it takes to be in luxury retail? If you guys haven't seen that video, you can find it right here after you've watched this one. But yeah, I would say the first thing with us hopping right into it is making sure that your resume is set, right? Because it's going to be the first thing that that interviewer sees about you, or your resume is going to be what the manager shares with the other managers, and you want to make sure that it is perfect. Make sure that it's on great parchment paper, make sure it has no errors, but make sure that it's a great representation of you and your work experience. On your resume too, you do want to display how your current work experience is going to parlay into a sales role at LV. So everything on your resume, whether it be sales related or not, should complement what you want to be doing at Louis Vuitton as a salesperson. The beautiful thing I will say about Louis Vuitton is that they're pretty open. So I've worked with lots of people over the years who didn't have any experience in sales, but they were able to show that. I worked with someone who she worked for the government, right, in Social Security, and she was able to show how those skills could parlay into a job at Louis Vuitton. So as long as you're able to do that, then you're one step closer to your dream LV job. Next step, and I would say probably the most important step, is making sure that you take your resume in. Please do not email your resume. Do not only upload it onto the LV site. Go to your local store, the store that you want to work at, and take your resume in. It's so important to make that first impression so that when the store manager or the other managers are looking at your resume, they have a visual person to compare it to. If you made a really good impression, they're going to want to meet you. Why would they choose someone on paper who has the same kind of skills as you when they have you in person who's great and bubbly and shining and just ready and eager, right? So you want to make sure that you are taking your resume in. Not only are you taking your resume in, but you want to make sure that you are looking the part. Guys, I can't begin to explain how many people when I worked there would come in like jeans, or because I live in Southern California too, so it's a hot mess. People would come in with jeans or their shorts on, their flip-flops, and then it's like they know that they're doing the wrong thing because they'll be like, oh, I'm so sorry for the way that I'm dressed, but I just wanted to drop this off. And I'm not saying that their resumes got thrown out or anything, but it definitely got pushed to the side, okay? You want to come in looking the part. I would say even so on a day, like days before you go to drop off your resume, go visit an LV store. See how the client advisors are dressed, okay? And then mimic that because you want to dress for the position that you want. So when you go, you should be wearing a nice outfit, you know, neutral tones. Your nails should be nicely done, cut short. Your hair should be slicked back. You should be wearing natural makeup. You should be ready for that part. You want that manager to picture you working there. If you're a guy, you want to make sure that you are nicely shaven, your hair is nice and low, you're wearing a nice professional suit, you've got good shoes on, and you're looking like you're ready for the part. If you've got a stellar resume, you're dressing the part, and you're going in and showing them who you are, trust me, you're like, honestly, 3/4 way there of being hired. Guys, it really truly does make a difference. I've seen people come in dressed to the nine and will dress the part, and the managers would be like, oh wow, they looked great. You know what I mean? So it definitely makes a difference. Not to be overlooked when you're dropping off your resume is, guys, don't give it to a client advisor. It's not that we don't care about you, but we don't care about you. Like, if you get hired at LV or not, it really doesn't matter to us, sorry to say. So if you do go in, don't just give your resume to anyone, because if you hand it to a client advisor, they're gonna go take it to a manager, of course, and they're gonna be like, oh, someone dropped their resume off. And then that manager never got to meet you, so you might as well have just emailed it, right? I would say the best thing to do is even skip the regular managers, go in, say, hi, how are you? My name is Jessica. I would like to speak with your store director for a moment, right? Smile. And ask to speak with the store director, because ultimately that's going to be the person that's making the decision. If you give your resume to the store director and they love you, that's how they're going to display you to the managers on their team. They're going to be like, oh, I met this girl Jessica today, she was great, I want you to interview her. And that other manager already knows, like, okay, my boss likes her. So it kind of plants the seed for you. If for some reason you're not able to drop it off with the store director, then of course, yes, give it to another manager. But I definitely would follow up a few days later by email to that manager, ask for their card. Oh, let's not forget, whomever you drop it off with, ask for their card so that you can send them a thank you email. Hey, it was a pleasure to meet you yesterday. Thank you for taking the time to speak with me, because right here you're showing that you have excellent communication skills, right? So with all of that, if you have, you know, taken your resume in, you've dressed the part, you've given it to the right person, you should definitely be able to land yourself an interview at Louis Vuitton. But what do you do once you land yourself this interview? These are the things that you need to say. One, you want to talk about your passion for people, your drive for building relationships, because at the end of the day, that's all that it's about. Building relationships with your client, building lasting relationships with your client, because that's where you're going to see the majority of your sales. If you have a good client, you can clientele to them, you can get them to come back every week, every month, every couple months, and that's how you're going to be successful at your job. So you want to make sure that you're highlighting areas in your other job that you build relationships. If you were, I don't know, a dean of student services, you want to talk about how you build relationships with your students, you know? Whatever it is that you're doing, you want to show that you're capable of building lasting relationships. So you want to talk about that. I might have mentioned this already, but you want to be able to, every question that they ask you, you want to be able to relate it back to your work experience. Show how your current work experience can help you to be successful at Louis Vuitton. But honestly, guys, I think the most important thing, and honestly, y'all go ahead, but it's probably the reason why I quit there, is their obsession with the high end. If you don't know what high end at Louis Vuitton is, it includes watches, fine jewelry, trunks, and exotic bags. This has been the biggest push at LV in the last, I would say, 2 years. They've got competitive goals. They're aggressively goaling their client advisors. And so before they even mention it, because trust and believe, they're going to mention it in your interview, you need to mention it. So for example, if they ask you a question like, oh, so why do you want to work at Louis Vuitton? Hop right into it. Oh, you know, LV has always been one of my favorite brands. I love the heritage. I love how Louis Vuitton started off as a trunk maker. I think that the trunks are absolutely beautiful, and I think it's wonderful that you can still find trunks in the collection today. They want to hear that. They want to hear that you love trunks. They want to hear that you have a passion for trunk making, right? Because they're trying to sell trunks still. The trunks are beautiful. I don't blame them. But this is really the big focus. It's what you want to be talking about. Bring up that Capucine. It's their favorite bag. They push it so hard. If they ask you what's your favorite thing at LV, Oh my goodness, I love the capucines. I think it's such a beautiful silhouette. I especially love it in your exotic leathers. You know what I mean? Like, you really do need to find ways, when they're asking you questions, find ways to talk about watches, jewelry, exotic bags, and trunks, because it's why they're hiring you. It's what they expect. I might have already mentioned this a little bit with the other topics that I brought up, but you're going to want to know a lot of Louis Vuitton history. As you talk, you want to storytell. Storytelling is one of the most important parts of being a salesperson. And so you want to tie in the history that you know of LV. You want to talk about, you know, their past creative directors. You want to talk about Virgil, what he's brought to the house with ready to wear. You want to talk about, like I said, Louis Vuitton and how he started out as a packer. You want to be able to talk about Louis Vuitton and their city bags and when they first came on the scene. It's a lot, but the more that you can share, that you know, that you're knowledgeable, that you're passionate, the better your chances are going to be of landing your dream LV job. Guys, I truly believe that if you follow the tips that I offered in this video, so I'm going to go over them again, make sure that you have a stellar resume, make sure that you're dropping it off in person, make sure that you are looking the part. Be sure to give it to the store director, if not a manager of some sort. And then once you are in that interview, really highlight your skills and how they will parlay. Really talk about how you love to build relationships. And guys, really drive home how much you love high end. I think that you're going to be set up for success. Of course, nothing is guaranteed. With all of that, you really do have to, I think, have a vibe with the person that you're interviewing with. When I had my LV interview, really short funny story, I sat down for my interview and the manager that interviewed me, whom I love now, and I would think for her, I still think of her as one of my mentors. She looked at my resume, she looked at one of my references, and she's like, how do you know this person? And I'm like, oh, I worked with her at Club Monaco. We have a great working relationship. And she said, oh, I just got back from Vegas with her. And child, I just knew right then and there that this job was mine, because of that relationship that I had built with that previous person. I knew that that person would be able to talk to her about my work ethic, my passion for selling, my passion for people, because I don't only say these things, like I really truly do mean them. As I'm talking to you guys right now, I'm super like amped up and excited because sales and people really are my passion. And that's why I think you guys, don't forget, should watch this video right here, because it'll tell you what it really takes to be a luxury professional. But all in all, guys, thank you for stopping by. I hope that this video will assist you in not only your LV work endeavors, but any luxury brand that you would like to work for. If you guys have any questions, of course, don't forget to drop them in the comments down below and I'll be sure to answer them. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for stopping by and I'll see you guys next time.